Soles of your feet together, spine elevated slightly. And we'll begin here. Just dropping into some slowness. So whether you're like me and you've kind of had a little dash to your mat, or whether you've had a nice leisurely introduction to your mat, whatever you've been coming from, wherever you are, whatever you're doing right now, slow down. And in that slowness, start to fill your breath a bit fuller into your belly, into your lower ribs, into your upper ribs. And then all the way out from upper ribs down back to your belly. Just following the flow of your breath, filling you up. And emptying out. As you deepen your breath, as you slow your breath, as you feel its impact on your body, start to watch how everything feels like it comes into slow motion. Your thoughts start to wind down, and as they come and go slowly, as if you've taken yourself down to half speed. On your in-breath, bring your knees in. Turn to your side. Turn your bolster the other way around, so it's alongside the mat that way. Have something maybe for your head. Lie down onto your side, so the bolster's underneath the side of the waist and ribs. And then let your head come down onto the block. You can turn it to whatever height feels good. And take your top arm up and over, and maybe straighten out your bottom leg and send it back slightly for a supported side stretch. A little bit like banana stretch, just slightly different. If it's not comfortable with the top leg straight, you can bend it and just try and wriggle your foot back a little. In fact, that for some people might feel nicer. So just play around with how you position your top arm, how you position your top leg to get that most comfortable and juicy feeling in your banana stretch. When we talk about banana stretching, we're just meaning that we want the body to be in this banana-like shape. Nice open side body, and then breathe into the ribs on the top side. Feel your breath filling the ribs, stretching the intercostals between the ribs. exercising that top lung with your deep breaths. And then if you feel you don't need the block under your head anymore and your head can just go down to the floor, you can take it a bit deeper, letting your head fall further. But I would suggest always have your head supported with something, so whether it's not the block or a cushion, it could be something else. And our body's trying to unravel, and in poses like we do in Yin Yoga where the fascia starts to release, this is like your big webbing of connective tissue. It requires us to stay longer and to try and ungrip. The moment we start to grip with our muscles, the fascia is activated and won't release. So ungrip with the muscles, let your bones feel freer. And then feel the more subtle releases going on underneath your skin. Almost like little waves of release. Another breath there. So you might just take your top hand and get hold of your head and support your head as your head lifts, and then push your way up through the bottom arm. Okay, when you come up, just turn your back to your bolster, and whatever the top leg was, cross that one in front of your bottom leg, and then just sit for a moment. And close your eyes and feel into the difference from one side of the body to the other. Notice the difference in feeling in the side that you were opening versus the side that was underneath. Does it feel any different? Mine definitely does. You don't even have to label that difference, but just be aware of it and just acknowledge that holding a shape for a length of time brings about an after effect and that it's been doing something. Okay, and we're going to keep the top, whatever the top leg was, that shin stays crossed in front and your feet flexed the best you can as you start to wriggle your way forwards into a cross leg. So we're aiming to cross at the shin bones rather than the ankles. All the animals joining in today. So crossing at the shins rather than the ankles and then coming forwards. If you need to grab your bolster from behind, then do. You could always turn around and face your bolster. And then when you've been there for a little while, maybe it subsides, the resistance subsides, you can drop in a bit deeper. When we're in this pose, we're activating the energy in the lower body, the lower chakras, which are related to our sense of stability, security, safety, our grounding energy. So just see if you can take your mind's attention to that, to the flow of energy around your lower back, your pelvis, your hips, your legs. We will move to one that works more in the upper, but for now, focus on the energy flow in the lower body. Our grounding energy. The energy of the earth element, our bones, our structure. Feel your bones and your structure surrendering, dropping deeper. Last few breaths. As you make your way up, pause. If you need to straighten your legs out, straighten your legs, but just pause for a moment. Drop your elbows back onto your bolster and uncross the legs and just pause with the knees up toward the ceiling and let the energy flow through your legs. Wherever was slightly twisted or restricted or pulling or being stretched there, just feel the blood flow come back in with fresh, renewed vitality into that tissue. Encouraging a good flow of blood, energy. We come up to the other side, so you're going to turn onto your other hip. You've got the bolster behind if it's not there already, move that back in. And then lying down onto your side again so that the bolster supports you and coming into a side bend. So your bottom arm just lays in front, your bottom leg, it doesn't matter what that one does. I would suggest just have it bent. And then your top leg, again, you can straighten the top leg and take your top arm up overhead. Or you might find that bending the top leg and shifting it back a bit gives you a different and maybe more suitable feeling for you. I've got a little shoulder thing going on at the moment, so I'm just going to keep my top arm bent, but if you can straighten that top arm, then straighten it out. So now we have this banana curve on the opposite side. Breathe into that top lung. And you might find you can access the back of the lung a little more easily. So as you breathe into that top lung, feel the breath spread round into the back ribs, into the back space of the lung. When we start to follow our breath, breathe deeper, it really helps us to access a deeper state of calm. So make sure your breath is included in what you're doing, an intrinsic part of your practice. And definitely a vital part of yoga, a vital practice in yoga. Feel how your breath is directed into the lung, but then there's this ripple effect. Where does it ripple to when you continue to breathe in? And then when you breathe out and the lung collapses back, reducing in size, where rebounds back in again? Do you feel the tissue along your hip when you exhale softens and drops even more? I definitely feel more release on the exhale. It's like the fascia releases and ungrips more on the exhale. So just see what you notice happening. A few more breaths. And then again, when you come up, your top hand holds your head and supports that as it lifts as much as it can, and then you use your arms to push up the rest of the way. Turning round, crossing whatever the top leg was in front. And then just pause. Sitting up, if you need to sit on a block or your bolster, then do. And then as you sit up, pause for a moment in pure observation. Be completely entranced by the after effects of what you were doing. I even feel a difference in the sides of my head and my ears from one to the other. See how far you can feel that asymmetrical feeling in your body, and then just notice it settling back to balance. Okay, and then with what was the top leg, staying crossed in front, crossed at the shin bones, start to make your way forwards. Square pose, suggesting we try and get our shins square to the front line of your mat. As you come down, you hit a red signal, stop, pause. If there's no red light in your body, then just keep going further down until you hit that place where you feel okay. I'm resting on the edge of resistance here. I'm going to pause there. Try not to push through it, just to pause, and it will gradually release when it's ready. This is the magic of fascial release. When we get there, we're not forcing or pushing. There's definitely no ego involved and no what's the word I'm looking for? Try and let go of your determination to get somewhere or a desire to be somewhere, and just let your body guide you. Mind taking a back seat. Body and intuition your guide. Once more, feeling into that grounding energy of the pelvis, legs, this whole lower body space. Feel there's almost a heaviness to this pose. The heaviness that is present in the earth element, the grounding energy. That which creates our solid foundation both physically and emotionally. Building your emotional foundations. Again, notice what you feel on the inhale and also what you feel on the exhale. Physically, there should be a difference between the two. Not just that you're in or out, but that there's a rebound effect. The cause is the breath, and the effect through your body, notice what that is. Okay, and then coming up from this side, make your way up to sitting. Just pause upright for a moment. Drop your elbows back onto the bolster behind. Unless it was in front, you can drop your elbows to the floor if that's the case. And knees are up. And then just feel that space of your hips in that relaxed state now as the blood fills the legs, pelvis, hips. Come round to hands and knees, and you're facing whichever way your bolster is. You might, if you've got a block, bring that on the inside edge of your bolster. And we'll take a little puppy dog. So you might not use your bolster, but it's there for if you want to. So you're staying vertical in your thigh bones. And you can start this off the bolster and see how it feels. I know that I'm going to use it. So your arms go out in front on the floor. And if you want to make it a little stronger, your arms rest onto the bolster. Your forearms rest on the bolster. And you might have a block for under your head. But again, if you're maybe a bit more open in the shoulders, you might just let your head go down to the floor. Try and have it so that your forehead is resting on something. Whether that's a block or the floor, so that there's just a gentle light stimulation there. Feel how this opens into your chest, your shoulders, and brings blood flow down into the chest, your throat, your neck, your head. This is now bringing blood flow and energy into the upper energy centers. The heart being stimulated by the openness, your neck through the extension, the third eye through that light pressure, maybe even as if you're trying to just gently look toward that point where your forehead rests. And then if you imagine your spine is like a slide, where would you end up being shot out if you were to slide down your spine now? And that would be the crown of your head. So this downward energy coming toward the crown of your head. Again, notice the difference in what you're feeling with the inhale compared to the exhale, how your body reacts to the cause of the breath and the effect through your body. Carefully make your way out of that. And we're going into a child's pose. Continue to use your block. Sit back to child's pose so your bottom's as close to your heels as you can go. With the block under your forehead, you're going to have the edge of the block along your brow line, so your nose is hanging off the edge free, and then you just roll your head along the edge of the block, so you're massaging across the brow line, finding any little crystals of tension there. Your arms might just relax by the sides of your shoulders or by the sides of your legs, so that the arms now aren't extended in front. So you're almost like you're trying to rub across the whole brow line, let your head remain heavy. The intensity of this kind of depends upon how tight this area is, but also the type of block you're using. So if you've got a cork brick, it can feel really quite intense. If you're using a cushion, you might not feel anything. One more each way. And then when you come to centre, keep the bolster and the block in front of you and straighten your legs to standing. Bow forwards over your legs, feet about hip distance or wide distance apart. And then you can let your head come down onto the block on top of the bolster. You can always take your bolster a bit higher or the block a bit higher or lower, depending on where you need to be. So for anyone that's miles away from it and you don't really get much past 90 degrees, what you could do is you could just come to a sofa or a chair and rest your forearms there, and then let your block come onto the sofa so you're being supported differently. Find something that's the right height for you in using props around your space. If you get nothing from the standing version of this, then feel free to go legs up the wall. So lying on your back with your legs straight up a wall. This is a really therapeutic pose, and it's really relieving for tension in the back of the legs and your spine. It's a great antidote to headaches. It's maybe not so good when you're in the midst of a headache, but it's a great one to help prevent. And feel that soothing blood flow through your face, your forehead, your scalp. And then we're going to take the last minute of this sitting, so you lower your bottom down to the floor. Now, if you're a little tighter, you're going to keep the bolster underneath the back of your knees and bend forwards with the bolster under the back of your knees. If you're not so tight, then you can have your legs straight with the bolster off to the side. Either is fine. It's what's best for you, and then go down. And if you use your breath almost like a very soft, light brush, as if you can feel your breath brushing through all the fibres that bind you and hold you. So you're brushing all the fibres through your body as if they are getting unknotted and lengthening out and getting smoother. That happens on the inhale, and on the exhale there's that just soft release. make your way up. And then come down with the bolster underneath the back of your hips. And for our final pose before we come into Shavasana, we're just going to extend the arms and legs. You can do it arms by your side or arms overhead, your choice. And the hips are elevated, so the hip flexors along, a great release for your hip flexors and the psoas, this deep postural muscle, particularly great if you suffer with constipation. It opens and stretches out your digestive tract, or if you hold tension in your belly. And also really good if you spend a lot of the day sat down. This area can get really tight. So whatever you need it for, we can all benefit from this pose. If it's too high on your bolster, then just put a rolled blanket or a thinner block underneath. I often find when I'm doing poses just totally supine like this, where you are just facing the sky and resting heavy into the earth, that you get this real feeling of connection. So can you surrender your weight down into the stability and the security of the earth, that grounding energy? And then can you feel the openness, the vastness, the creative potential as you expand out into the vast unknown of the space and sky surrounding you. And then everything in between, that grossest grounded earth element and the most subtle of the ether element. Feel the balance in between. You are earth, water, fire, air, and space. You are the magic of creation, manifest into human form. Breathe into your body and your mind in awe of this. Slide your feet in flat to the floor. Pause a moment. If you try and push straight away up off the bolster, sometimes the back just takes a moment to desensitize from the legs being straight. I also like to just let the knees, maybe even one at a time, coming towards the chest, just for a little knee drop. Helps just to counterpose that spine extension. And then when your feet go down, roll the bolster away until it's underneath the back of your knees. And then we'll take Shavasana with the knees supported. Again, once you get down to the ground, it might be that if your back feels like it just needs a little more, you might just give your knees another little squeeze towards your chest, just to help settle down in the lower back. Once you feel you're there and you're comfortable, then just letting your legs be completely supported over the bolster. Tailbone nice and long. Feel as though you're breathing light down your body to a little beam at every toe tip. The tip of every toe, with a little beam of light. And then breathing light down your arms to the tip of every finger, a little beam of light. A ball of light in your pelvis. Almost feel like it's tangible and your pelvis feels heavy yet lit up. A ball of light in your chest. Again, as though it's tangible and it makes your chest feel heavy yet spacious and light. A ball of light in the center of your head. And then as if you, the whole of you, is that ball of light. Radiant with energy, with renewed flow and connection. Take a deep breath in. And a long breath out. Feet coming flat. Push the bolster away. Turn around and make your way up. Nice and slow. Again, back into slow motion. When you're up to sitting, just pause a moment and experience the after effects as you sit vertically, grounded through the lower body, lifted upward and spacious through the upper body, and it all harmonizing together into oneness. Taking your well-balanced self into the rest of your evening. Thank you all. Namaste.